everyone, myself Naman Ahmed and I'm back with another video once again, and I welcome all of you once again to my channel. So now in this video we are going to start the chapter number 8 from the history, which is the Delhi Sultanate, as you can see the heading. So before starting we will have to know some kind of introduction about the Delhi Sultanate. So page number 73 and the first paragraph of that is the brief introduction about the Delhi Sultanate, and after that the sources and many more things we will come to know about the Delhi Sultanate. So now let's get started without wasting any more time. So here by the 10th and 11th centuries, numerous small kingdoms had emerged in northern India. Okay, so by the end of the 10th and 11th, by the 10th and 11th centuries, numerous small kingdoms had emerged in the North India because of the absence of a powerful central government. Central government means which will govern all the kingdoms in that area or in that particular country. So these kingdoms were constantly at conflict with one another. So they were always at fight with each other. Okay, and this lack of political unity, there was no unity. Okay, unity means friendship. Unity was largely, and this lack of political unity was largely responsible for quick victories of the Turks, who began their conquest in the 11th and the 12th centuries. However, their empire was established in 13th century. So they were always in conflict. The small numerous kingdom that had emerged in that area, they were always at conflict or fight with each other. So this gave the Turks an opportunity to conquer at them, and they ruled that place. Okay, so they conquered their places at the 11th and the 12th centuries, but their empire was established in the 13th century. After that, the period between, see, this is important, this line you can underline it. So the period between 1206 and 1526, when 5 dynasties successfully ruled the Delhi, ruled from Delhi, is known as the period of Delhi Sultanate. So the 1206, the period between 1206 and 1526, when the 5 dynasties ruled from Delhi, is known as the period of Delhi Sultanate. So it was so called because the rulers of various dynasties which ruled from their capital at Delhi were called the Sultan. So that's why it was known as the Delhi Sultanate. Now we come to the main thing, which is the according to the scope or the syllabus is given. So the first thing that we are going to start is the sources. So in the sources, the first source is the inscription. Okay, so inscription, the first point about the inscription, the first point is that they are valuable sources. They are valuable sources, but not the sole sources. It is written in the book the sole sources. Sole sources means the most important source, but it was not that, but it was valuable sources. Okay, after that, they are found on coins, they are found on monuments, they are found on milestones and tombstones. After that, the language in which it was written were the Arabic and the Sanskrit. See, Arabic and the Sanskrit, these were the languages, and some were in the both the languages. Okay, some inscription were in Arabic and Sanskrit both. And this line is important. See, first coin issued by Muhammad Bakhtiyar Khilji was in the both languages. Okay, this is the short form. So the first coin, who issued the first coin, or the first coin was issued by whom? He was the Muhammad Bakhtiyar Khilji. Okay, and his coin was in the both languages. Okay, now number second is the monument. See, the most important thing of the monument is that they just reveal the cultural trends. Okay, what was the trend, how the clothes were worn by the people, what kind of clothes, and many things. The living conditions, or you can say standard, and after that the beliefs. Okay, so in which god they believed, and many more are there. Now the number third point is the Qutub Minar. From here some important things will start. So the first important line, it can come in exam. Who started the construction of Qutub Minar? It was started by Qutbuddin Aibak. Okay, see, the Qutub Minar was dedicated to the Sufi saint. See, Sufi saint means the friend of God. Okay, so Sufi means the friend of God. Sufi saint, who was the Sufi saint? Qutbuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki. Okay, now just don't confuse between the Muhammad Bakhtiyar Khilji and the Sufi saint Qutbuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki. Sorry, not this Qutbuddin Aibak. Okay, just don't confuse. And after that, the structure was completed by Iltutmish. So who completed the structure of the Qutub Minar? It was completed by Iltutmish, and it was started by Qutubuddin Aibak. Okay. Okay, now we are going to start the special features of the Qutub Minar. Okay, as we completed about some parts of Qutub Minar, the intro part, and now we are going to start the special features of the Qutub Minar. So the first point is after the construction completed of the Qutub Minar, it rose to a height of 71.4 meter. Okay, the first point. Second point, see, this is the date, it can be asked. In 1369, the tower means the Qutub Minar is a tower, was damaged by lightning. Okay. After that, it has 5 stories, tapering as they ascend. That means, stories means you can see the round shaped on the tower, the round shaped thing, it is known as stories. And tapering means it is going up. That means it is as it is going up, it is becoming thinner and thinner and thinner. You can see the picture in the book, and if you have visited the Qutub Minar, you can also relate this. As they ascend means as they go up. Entrance of the Qutub Minar is through the doorway. Entrance is through the doorway on the northern side. The northern side is on the northern side, the entrance of the Qutub Minar is there. After that, the Minar is a circular tower about 13.8 meter in diameter at base, and tapers to the width around 3 meter at the summit. Summit means the tip point, end. And the things that were used, the red sandstone was used, marble was used, and the grey quartzite were used for the construction. Okay. The last point here, guys, of the special features, the last point is the verses of the Holy Quran are inscribed, okay, are written on the tower. Okay, now we are going to start the Khilji dynasty. Okay, as we finished the Qutub Minar introduction and the special features of it, now we are going to start the Khilji dynasty. So from the Khilji dynasty, the first point, all the things are written in the point. If you want, you can follow the book, or if you don't want, you cannot follow the book, as all the things, the written part in the book, I have wrote it here. You can take a screenshot, or you can write it or note down in your copy. Okay. So the first part from here is the last ruler of the slave dynasty was murdered in 1290. It is important as the date is given. The last ruler of the slave dynasty. Okay, after the slave Khilji dynasty emerged. So the slave dynasty's last ruler was murdered in 1290. Now after that, new line of ruler emerged. They were called the Khiljis. See, after the slave dynasty era finished, the new line of rulers emerged. They were called the Khiljis. Now the founder, okay, who was the founder of the Khilji dynasty? Jalaluddin Khilji. Now see here, Jalaluddin Khilji was the founder, and he came to the throne after killing Kakubad, last king of the slave dynasty. See, the founder of the Khilji dynasty was Jalaluddin Khilji, and the last ruler, these 2 points are important, the last ruler of the slave dynasty who was murdered in 1920 was the Kakubad. Now after that, he was murdered by his nephew Alauddin Khilji. Who murdered him? His nephew Alauddin Khilji. Now Alauddin Khilji, in the book it is written a big paragraph, just this the most important point. I thought this was the most important point, so that's why I wrote this, and above this the points that are not so much important as this are. So Alauddin Khilji, it can be asked that name the territories Alauddin Khilji conquered. So he conquered all the territories of Malwa, including Ujjain, Dhar, Chanderi and Mandu. Now Alauddin Khilji's market regulations. Okay, market regulations. So first Khilji dynasty, about Khilji dynasty and about Alauddin Khilji. Now about Alauddin Khilji's market regulations. So regulations, the first point here, Alauddin is best known in the history for his market regulations. Okay, so who is best known in the history for his market regulations? If it can ask in the examination about who was the best known, so Alauddin Khilji is the answer. After that, how? The first point, see, he fixed the cost of all commodities. That means all things, all commodities such as food grains, okay, sugar and cooking oil. So he fixed the cost. The cost was fixed for which things, the food grains, the sugar and the cooking oil. After that, see, he set up three markets in Delhi. The first market was set up at Delhi for food grains. The first market was set up at Delhi for food grains. The second for costly cloth, and third for horses and cattle. Okay, so the first market set up at Delhi for the food grain, second for costly clothes, and third for horses and cattle. As I have written in the point, it will be very much easier for you to understand. So we started the Khilji dynasty, and one thing I want to tell you that we will complete this chapter in the two parts. This is the first part. Okay, the last part of the first part is the Khilji dynasty and the market regulations of the Alauddin Khilji. So let's revise once again. Last ruler, who was the last ruler of the slave dynasty, Kakubar, he was murdered by his nephew Alauddin Khilji. The founder of the Khilji dynasty was Jalaluddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji conquered the territories of Malwa, including Ujjain, Dhar, Chanderi and Mandu, and the market regulations of Alauddin. He is best known. He fixed all the cost of the commodities such as food grain, sugar and cooking oil. And first market set up at Delhi for food grains, second for the costly clothes. It's very easy, just you can remember this in your mind. Second for costly clothes and third for horses and cattle. So this was the first part of the Delhi Sultanate. Hope you liked the video. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, share, comment, share and subscribe. So this is Numan Ahmed signing out from Learning History with Numan. Keep supporting. Thank you for watching.